Hello, welcome to Dark Hearts with sceneHe. Things look a little different today, as you can see. Jason and I have spent the last 2 weeks in Berkeley, California. I filmed enough content to be gone, but a couple of days ago, Jason was asked to stay a little bit longer. And so for this episode and the next one, I will be coming to you from my hotel room. You know I am bringing you your content come hell or high water. Luckily, I brought my cheap little mic to make TikToks, so at least I've got a mic. It's not the good one I normally use, but you know I'm bringing you your stories. I'm also going to have to read from my iPad because I don't have my teleprompter. And you guys know your girl does not have a good memory. I write my stories down because I like to make sure everything is correct. So if you see my eyes wandering a little bit while I'm talking, that's why. Just a few days ago, one of the women at the heart of this story spoke for the first time. On a new episode of ID's TV show, Eva Lives Here, Jamie Lee Arrow talks about her father, Isakin Drubbed. He is known as the Skara Cannibal. This is the horrifying story of abuse and murder committed by, he's a mentally ill man, but I think he's also evil. This story has been told before, but this time we're getting some perspective from the little girl who lived through it. She's now a grown woman, and what she has to say is chilling. Not only did Isakin Drabbad commit a terrible crime, he then started a relationship with a woman who is known in Europe as the Vampire Woman. Then this man got attention online because he started selling very disturbing items. We're going to talk about that. Throughout this episode, I'm going to play you a couple of clips from a video I found of the actual criminal walking and talking around the grounds of the psychiatric hospital where he is committed. These clips are interesting, and taken into context, they're very disturbing. This is the story of the murder of Helle Christensen and the Skara Cannibal. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more from me. It helps a lot. I'm your host, sceneHe. Let's begin. Jimmy Daniel Isaksson was born in Köping, Sweden. He later changed his name to Isakin Jakobsson and then to Isakin Drabbad. There is very little information as to how this man grew up. We have very little information about his childhood, which is disappointing because you know here on Dark Hearts, we like to talk about what makes a killer. I hope that with more media attention being brought to this case with this new interview, we will learn a little bit more about this man. It was hard to find a lot of information on this story because it took place in Sweden, and in those countries, they protect people's privacy much differently than we do here in the US. But what we know is this. Isakin Drabbad spent his life in and out of mental institutions, even as a child. He was disturbed as a kid, as a teenager, and as an adult. As you can see, Isakin was once a very handsome young man with a beautiful daughter. He seemed to be a loving father who doted on his little girl. But underneath the surface, Isakin was always troubled. Now, Isakin saw his daughter often, and they seemed to have a good relationship, but he was also known to have a violent temper, and as he aged, that temper got worse. When Isakin started doing drugs, he began to spiral. We see this a lot. His mental illnesses were exacerbated by the drug use, and his violence got worse the deeper he sunk into addiction. During one of his many stints in a psychiatric hospital, Isakin met this woman, Helle Christensen. They met in 2009 when they were both in their 30s. Now, Helle Christensen was the mother of 5 children, and she did not have custody of any of those children. They all lived with their fathers. Helle was also a disturbed woman who was in and out of psychiatric care. Isakin and Helle were together for years, and during that time, Helle became very close with Isakin's daughter, Jamie. Jamie would later say that Helle was not just her dad's girlfriend, she was like a second mom to her. By 2010, Helle was 40 and Isakin was 33. Isakin, Helle, and Jamie made up a little family of sorts, a dysfunctional family, but a family just the same. On the morning of November 12th, 2010, Isakin and Helle got up around noon and they got dressed. They went out into the town. Isakin bought 4 bottles of beer and a bottle of Jägermeister, and Helle went into the grocery store and purchased food. The two then returned to their apartment and Isakin began to drink. 9-year-old Jamie came to the apartment later in the afternoon, and she said that day when she walked in, she could immediately sense something was off. Helle was not really speaking to Jamie, and that was very unusual. Jamie would later say that Helle wanted nothing to do with her on that day. Jamie sat in the kitchen and Helle cooked something for her. When Helle handed Jamie her plate, she said, "Enjoy this. It's the last meal I'll ever cook for you because Isakin is going to kill me." First off, can you even imagine saying something like that to a 9-year-old child? That must have been so scary for this little girl at the time. She's in her father's house where she's supposed to feel safe, you know? Jamie sat and ate the food that had been prepared for her, and she noticed her father's strange behavior. He wasn't speaking. Helle wasn't speaking. It was very tense. Now, thankfully, Jamie was picked up from the apartment and taken by her mother. Isakin and Helle continued arguing and drinking through the day. Sometime between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock that evening, Helle went to lay down and she was reading on a mattress. For reasons known only to Isakin, he sat down on the mattress, he took out a big kitchen knife, and he cut the mattress open. He was sitting at the top of Helle's body, kind of with his legs around her head. She's just laying there reading a book. He takes the knife, reaches down, and cuts her throat. Helle had no time to react, no way to defend herself. And as she's laying there bleeding out, Isakin takes a pillow and puts it over her to absorb the blood. Now, I have to be a little bit careful about what I say here, but after Helle was dead, Isakin took the knife and cut Helle's clothes off of her, all of them. After that, he penetrated Helle. He then took that same knife and removed her head. He carried the head into the kitchen and set it on the kitchen table to prepare it. He then returned to the body where he removed parts. He took those parts into the kitchen, heated up a frying pan, he cooked them, and he ate them. He consumed a lot that day. Isakin then calmly picked up the phone and called the police. He said, "When you get here, you don't have to jump on me. I'm as calm as can be. I want to do the right thing for myself. What I have done now, I have no idea that I have actually done it, but I have woken up." The police arrived at the apartment and, as you can imagine, were horrified at what they found. Isakin Drabbad was taken into custody for an interview. He told investigators that he was dangerous when he was off his medication. He said he and Helle had been fighting all day and he has no idea what triggered him to do what he did. The investigators asked Isakin why he had decapitated Helle and then taken her head to the kitchen. He said, "Why? I have no idea. It felt like there were several people in the room. It's almost like a movie was playing." At the end of this interview, Isakin was arrested and read his rights. The following day, so November 14th, 2010, the Skara Board District Court ordered that Isakin would undergo a psychiatric evaluation. His blood had also been taken at the time of his arrest. At that time, he had a BAC of 1.35, and he had 4.1 micrograms of tramadol in his system. Tramadol is a narcotic. Isakin and Helle's apartment was searched. The investigators found the frying pan with remnants in it. They found a lot of knives, a lot of saws, and then they found a DVD collection. Included in that DVD collection were films about the Green River Killer and also the Wonderland murders. Well, I hope nobody ever goes through my DVD collection because... Now, like I said earlier, because this crime took place in Sweden, we don't have a lot of details. I don't have crime scene photos or anything of that nature to show you, but here is what we do know. On March 11th, 2011, the murder trial for Isakin Drabbad began. It took place in the same district, the Skara Board District Court. Now, we know that by the time of his trial, Isakin had already confessed to the murder of Helle Christensen. I mean, did he have a choice? The court was shown the results of the multiple psychiatric evaluations that Isakin had undergone, which all proved that he was severely mentally ill. Part of Isakin's mental illness includes hallucinations. Isakin appeared in court, handcuffed, accompanied by guards, and he was standing behind a partition. Isakin's attorney, a man named Tor Brantler, argued that there was no motive for this crime. He argued that the murder took place solely because Isakin is mentally ill. The attorney also argued that the alcohol and the drugs found in Isakin's system were consumed after the murder. Sure, Jan. We know he was drinking earlier in the day. Now, this is another thing that's very different from here in America. When the autopsy photos and the crime scene photos were taken into court, the only people allowed to see them were the jury and the judge. All of the spectators were removed from the courtroom. Journalists were removed from the courtroom. In a lot of these countries, they do not get to see all of the evidence. After the jury and the spectators were brought back in, the 911 call that Isakin made after the murder was played. During that, Isakin sat completely motionless, staring straight forward. It's hard to have sympathy for people that show no emotions during the trial. I think it hurts them. But I also think it's important to let the jury see who they are. At the end of the trial, Isakin Drabbad was found guilty. He was sentenced to psychiatric care in Katrineholm. He was also ordered to pay the equivalent of $7,700 to Helle's estate and $7,700 to each of her 5 children. I'm sure they will never see that money unless the government steps in. So Isaac was sent off to the mental institution where, try to contain your shock, he became a problem. By 2011, Isakin Drabbad was refusing to take his medication. He kept to himself. He didn't cause any outbursts or violence, but he was a difficult patient. After a few months of this behavior, he seemed to snap out of it, and he started to socialize with the other patients. And then he started doing these kind of walks around the grounds. Apparently, he was allowed to have a cell phone, and that is where this very interesting footage I'm going to show you comes from. Now, I don't know if it was online, if he was in chat rooms, or if people were texting him, but Isakin was able to get messages from the outside. And I mean, this is Sweden, and he's a cannibal. So people were very aware of him and aware of what he had done. So in this video that you're going to see, he's answering questions that people have asked of him. I think you'll find this fascinating, especially taking it into context, because he talks a lot about food.
Hello, I promised I would answer some questions, so I will do that. First question, how old are you? I'm 37 years old. I was born in 1978. Where I was born and grew up I was born in a town called Köping. Then I moved when I was about 2 years old to a town called Västerås, about 2 miles from there and about 10 miles from here, where I am now. My favorite places before I got here, it was probably in Västerås and everywhere where my good friends were, or probably now where my daughter is, I'm happy. Of course, favorite food. I only enjoy food when I am with my daughter, when I cook food for her, or when we are in a restaurant. Because here I don't want to, even if I eat something good when I'm in the hospital, I buy some candy or whatever, I don't really enjoy it because I don't want to connect a good feeling with this situation, because I don't want it to be good here. I want it to be hard, because that makes me it's a perfect grow ground, because to grow from to become a better version of what you are. It's like a great school in that place, but it's a fucked up place. The alarm goes all day long, 24 hours a day, every day. People scream, cry, blah blah blah. It's not that I don't want you to feel sorry about me. I just want to say that kind of place is nothing that I want to, when I get free from here, if I get free, or when I'm meeting my family, I don't want to eat the same candy then and make that taste and pleasure connect with, give me thoughts about that, because that's not my home. So I don't see it's my home. I like it hard, because that makes me want to get out of there. Yeah, I hope you understand what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I get what he's saying. He's saying he doesn't want to associate the pleasure of eating with the mental institution, but he kind of seems oblivious to the fact that people are asking him about food because of what he did. In November of 2011, Isakin meets another patient at the mental hospital. Her name is Michelle Gustafsson. Let's talk a little about her because, Michelle Gustafsson is known in Sweden as the vampire woman. Why? Oh, because she is convicted of killing a young man and slitting his throat, covering herself in his blood. In 2010, the vampire woman killed 24-year-old Daniel Stenman. Not only did she commit this murder, but after she was caught, the police went through her computer and she had kept a blog. On this blog, she had posted photos of herself dressed as a vampire. She has blood coming down from her lips. She's holding a bloody knife that she's licking. She's got saws and weapons, taking into account that she committed a very bloody crime and then posed as a vampire. That led her to get that name. She was obsessed with blood and death, so she seems nice. On November 13th, 2011, Isakin and Michelle were in a group chat. I guess they had access to like message boards. And Isakin asks Michelle, "Will you be my girl?" And the vampire woman did in fact want to be the cannibal's girl. A month later, in December, the two got engaged. Well, these two were together for 6 years. The relationship finally ended in 2017, but a lot went on during this relationship. In February of 2012, Isakin and Michelle started blogging from the hospital. What were they blogging about? Oh, the murders they committed. They were mocking their victims and making light of what they themselves had done. One of their victims' sisters saw these blog posts and she was very angry, rightfully so. So this sister contacted the police and the police contacted the hospital. Isakin and Michelle then had their internet privileges restricted, and this situation actually led to new legislation in Sweden that restricts prisoners and psychiatric patients access to the internet. When Isakin was allowed to post again, this is what he wrote. "Most people say at some point in their life that they would never take someone else's life, but once you have done it, it's not a big deal anymore." So yeah, he's not getting any better. This is a very strange and unusual man, and I find it fascinating to watch him.
How many tattoos do I got? I got one. I don't know. It's probably on my body. And one question is there some place I don't want to tattoo? No, not really. I got tattoos in most places, except my eyeballs. I got in places that only women see in intimate ways, and everywhere else I got tattoos. How long have I done works, painting stuff? All my life, so as long as I can remember, I have found pleasure in doing art, and all the know that is something, that is a part of me. Like if you take a window in the cold outside and you blow your breath on it, it becomes foggy. I don't know what to say, but it gets a cloud in the window from your breath. And that is what my art are. It's just my breath on the mirror. My window. That's what it is. I can't explain it. And my art, would I feel, another question, do I feel the urge to kill again? Not right now. Another question, what do I miss from the outside, from the free world? I don't really see me as non-free, because freedom in that sense does not exist. This is just I live just in a little smaller box than you out there in the free, because I'm freer in some sense here. I have less responsibility. I can focus all my time on working out my body and train my art. And the biggest prison that we all locked up in is the prison of all the senses of the mind, combined with all the elements. That's a prison, if you want to see name something a prison, but that is what it is. We can't see beyond that. So, but that goes with your area. If you're like in a smaller box like me, or in a bigger box. So, I look at my box like I can imagine a larva look at his cocoon. It's a hell of a ride. My process to make art is No, it depends on what I have to do art with. I use many things. Maybe I've seen some latest thing they made out of toilet paper. Because it's because everything is not. It's not. They not allow everything, of course, at the hospital. Often it'll be Chinese ink is my favorite when I paint with two hands at the same time. I do most of my things with two hands because you see, you got two eyes because we need to see depth in things. We got two hands and they are controlled with, we got two hands and each side of the body is controlled with one half of the brain. So I thought it must go faster to paint with two hands and you must get a better result. And now it's like that. If I want to paint, especially when you want to make a portrait or something, I only almost look at the example, a photo of the one I'm going to paint. I don't look at the paper as much or my hands. The hands goes where my eyes look at. It's a cool thing. Try it. What I hope for the future. The thing is, I don't like the word hope. It's a higher form of belief. That's created almost fear of hopelessness, of feeling lost in every way. Hope is a sign for weakness. What I wish for the future, I don't know what the future holds for me. Since my father exploded in my mother, this is a continue of that explosion. I keep on. When I finish exploding, the echo or the circles in the water from me will keep on going. And I believe it's so for all. I see it like this, and I think everybody can see it as there is me and there is everything else. And the only thing that stops everything from being whole and connect to itself is me. Like a hair in the eye or a stone in the shoe. It feels uncomfortable. That's because that everything in this world is made to kill, to consume, to draw energy from everything. This is a planet of the rotten flesh. Because everybody go around rotten, everybody feeds of every other's misery, and just to rise again in some other form, to keep dying, to keep killing. The ultimate goal from everything here is death. When everybody goes around and thinks that we are alive, this is only different stages of death, nothing more. This is rotten. We rot, everything rot here. We live in a kind of a prison, like a digestive system for something. An eternal machine of the eternal dying. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm talking in that sense, the language human have, so what it means to be alive and dead. I can't see something as alive that's dying. You're dead. You're different stages of dead. Yeah. Thanks for all. I hope you all have a nice day. Bye.
By 2015, Isakin was getting furloughs once a week. That is just so crazy to me coming from an American perspective. This guy here in America would be locked away in a supermax for the rest of his life. In Sweden, he's in a hospital for 5 years and then he's getting furloughs, field trips. By 2016, Isakin is posting on his blog a lot. He talks about the meaning of life, and he talks a lot about survival. I want to read you something that he posted. Life is survival and nothing more. I'd rather have that philosophy because it means I never have to doubt what's right and what's wrong in life. As long as I know I'm fighting for my survival. I think you do not, in fact, know what is right and what is wrong, my guy. He also writes, I'm not a racist, or I am a racist. I hate everyone, except a few people in the world. So I'm a racist against the human species, if you want to label me. I see myself as anti-human. There's nothing about humans that I like, except maybe the taste. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. He continues to get these furloughs because his behavior is good. He never relapses on drugs. So he gets more and more free time, and he's even allowed to get an apartment. This guy cut off a woman's head and ate her. It's just, as an American, that is unthinkable that somebody would ever be released. I'm not saying our system's better. I mean, our mental health system over here is terrible, but at least they're locked up forever, you know? Isaac can get so much freedom that his behavior starts to go a little bit off the rails, and the prosecutor gets concerned. I mean, that's good. At least we know they're monitoring him. The doctors reevaluate Isakin, and they realize that he has a pattern of getting very violent and angry anytime somebody says something he doesn't like. So by the spring of 2017, a decision was made to restrict his freedoms. He was made to go into more intensive care. Isakin protested. He was like, hey guys, I'm fine. And the doctors were like, no, you're not. So get this, Isakin then begins a relationship with a woman who works at the psychiatric hospital. You know what I don't ever see happening for me personally? I don't ever think I'm seeing this guy, a patient in a mental hospital who is there for murdering his girlfriend, cutting off her head and then eating her, and then thinking to myself, you know what? Hell yeah, this is who I want to hook up with. I'm not making light of what he did. What is going through this woman's mind? But you know, that's just me. That's just me. These two get caught and they try and say that their relationship is professional. But a couple of days later, this woman resigns. She continues to try and visit Isakin in the hospital. The hospital decides that this woman might pose a security threat. Yeah. They think maybe she and Isakin are plotting some sort of escape for him, and she knows the hospital really well. She worked there. So the hospital tells Isakin this woman is not going to be allowed to visit him anymore, and then he puts in a request for a furlough. He wanted to go to Katrineholm to get married. The hospital administration was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. And as time goes on, Isakin continues to display upsetting behavior. He is still in psychiatric care. Now, just recently, his daughter Jamie went to the hospital to film for the TV show Eva Lives Here. Jamie had not seen her father in almost 5 years at this point in time. I believe this episode just aired a few days ago. I could not find it, and I have a subscription to the ID channel, but I want to play you a clip I found of Jamie talking about this meeting and this filming. I can't show you the clips of the actual interview because they're copyrighted, but I think it's important that we hear what Jamie herself has to say.
My name is Jamie Lee Arrow, and I am a survivor of trauma, PTSD, addiction, all of it. Not all of it, but I had a very difficult childhood. And when I was 9, my dad actually killed my stepmom, which were a turning point in my life, and everything just went downhill from there. The only thing I will say about the murder is that it was very sick, twisted and brutal, and he actually ate from her body. He's famous for being this sick killer and cannibal, and his nickname is the Skara Cannibal. Let's do it in 1, 2, 3, go. So the clip, like the homemade clip in this video of my dad, I've never seen that in my life. I don't know how that is definitely in his room at the hospital. I could see the masks behind him, and he just looked so sick, and it was actually very disturbing to see that. When I was sitting there, like there and then, as I said, my mind was all over the place. I didn't know what to think or what to believe. This video, I think there's going to be a bit of acting. Right, 1, 2, 3, let's go. It's just so surreal that this have been made, and that I have done this, and that this is happening, and I don't even know. This is so cool, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity, because this is my chance to reach out to as many people as possible, and I really hope I will. this was actually pretty much how the scenario looked, and yeah, they are really good at what they do. Oh my god, that was intense. So it's very difficult for me to watch this. You know, I just can't help but to feel love for my dad. He's my dad and he will always be my dad. And even though he can never ever be a part of my life again, I will love him. And sometimes during this video, I can see a glimpse of empathy in his eyes and a glimpse of remorse. But then it disappears again. It's like he's trying to shut something out. Like he's trying to shut all of that out, and he just tried to come back all the time. And he's like, no, I don't want to feel that. It's so difficult loving someone that you're not supposed to love. And I do love him, but I don't love the things he does and what he's done.
This woman has been through so much. She suffered terrible abuse and neglect as a child. She was exposed to things that no child should ever be exposed to. She's come out the other end, strong and confident and obviously beautiful. I especially love this photo of Jamie. This is something we talk about all the time. Having a bad childhood is not an excuse for becoming a bad person. Many people have bad childhoods and they do not go on to commit criminal acts themselves. Does a bad childhood affect a person? Of course it does. But that's one of the most beautiful truths here. We all have free will. We can choose to stay angry about the way we were raised, or we can choose to learn and grow and thrive. Now, there is a wide spectrum there. Of course, there are people so damaged that they do not have those options. But we all have the option not to turn violent. Unless you are clinically insane, you have that option. One of the things that Jamie says in this ID interview that I can't share with you really stuck with me. She tells her father, even though I was afraid of you, I always wanted to be with you. Oh, it broke my heart because that is what every child of abuse faces. They love their parent even when they're afraid of them, and it is heartbreaking. Good hell. Jamie's father replies to her and he says, "You're extremely brave." And Jamie says, "No, I just loved you." It tore my heart out. I think this woman is very brave, whether she thinks so or not. She now has a child of her own. She seems to be doing really well. As you heard, she had a difficult time in her life and she's overcome that. Get it together, Stacey. As for Isakin Drabbad, we will have to wait and see what happens in the future. Personally, I don't think someone who has committed these kinds of acts should be released. There are many, many people who have mental illnesses that are not dangerous. Isakin Drubbed, the Skara Cannibal, is not one of them. Thank you for joining me today on Dark Hearts with Stacey Lee from my hotel room. I sure appreciate you guys, each and every one of you. I want to give a special thank you to my patrons. If you join Patreon, you will get some bonus content that is not available anywhere else. Please listen to my podcast if you haven't. It is on Apple, Spotify, and Amazon, and I post brand new episodes Mondays and Wednesdays. Stay safe, my friends, and be kind to each other. And I will see you next time on Dark Hearts with Stacey Lee. Bye.